the unrivaled healing power of nature. Hi everyone, Mazen here. Welcome to the Maximal Life. Today, I'm excited to discuss the neuroscience behind the awesome power of nature. We know that the brain is a bank, and we can only withdraw what we deposit. We know that time affluence is a state of mind enjoyed by the most satisfied and successful among us. And we know that energy is the antidote to every challenge. So ask yourself this triple crown question. How can you recharge your energy while making huge deposits into your brain bank? The answer is both elegant, simple, and backed by a whole lot of science. Don't you just love it when this happens? I will share with you a few interesting terms that have newly emerged from recent studies done on the subject of how our surroundings impact our health and our wellness. Ever hear of nature deficit disorder? How about brain fatigue? Well, a growing body of research strongly indicates that brain fatigue has become a cultural norm as our society becomes more and more disconnected with nature. Nature deficit disorder refers to a very common type of brain fatigue that can almost be instantly eliminated by spending time outdoors surrounded by nature. Here's a startling fact. In our modern high-tech world, the average person's brain is bombarded with the equivalent of 174 newspaper of data every day. That's about 5 times the amount of sensory information a person received just 30 years ago. Today, we find our focus and attention caught up in that constant battle between the information we truly need, which holds actual value, and the relentless onslaught of irrelevant and often disturbing images, reports, and advertisements. It is an ongoing internal battle our minds fight every day. As individuals and as a society, we've grown accustomed to feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and stressed on a daily basis. And we're not just accustomed to this daily grind mentality, we've glorified it. We lionize a CEO who sleeps in his office. We're constantly exposed to images and advertisements suggesting the good life is all about the acquisition of financial affluence, even at the expense of our own health and well-being, whatever it takes to get ahead. With this grind mentality running rampant, we experience heightened levels of stress and anxiety, and we experience them as normal, even as natural. It's just part of the package, we say. In today's go culture, there'll always be those who boast about their busy lives. I used to take pride in referring to lunchtime as the productivity thief. Let's get real right here, right now. It is neither normal nor natural to exist in a perpetual state of stress and anxiety. Now science is proving that it is not necessary, nor is it more productive, to accept stress and anxiety as an unavoidable byproduct of working hard to achieve your goals. According to my research and a huge body of scientific evidence, the most powerful neutralizer of stress and the deepest wellspring for renewing our energy may be just outside your window. I'm talking about Mother Nature. Consider Anton Chekhov's statement on it. Those that contemplate the beauty of the earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. An emerging field of study known as eco-psychology states that while our brains may be adapting to our fast-paced, technologically advanced world, its original function is still to respond primarily to nature. According to eco-psychology, human beings have an instinctual need to connect with nature. This concept of nature connectedness was originally developed by the biologist Edward Wilson, who said, "Nature blends the key to our aesthetic, intellectual, cognitive, and even spiritual satisfaction." Dr. Wilson discovered that our evolutionary connection to nature activates a part of the brain known as the insula. The insula is that area in the brain that governs how we feel about what we experience. When the insula is activated by nature, we're brought instantly into the present moment, and our minds eagerly drink in the stimulus provided by the experience. Now, when the insula is activated by stressful situations, we are brought instantly into a state of distraction. Our thoughts scramble to make sense of the nonsense, the useless information, and the forced knowledge of difficult situations that are often beyond our control. Dr. Wilson speculates that the insula evolved specifically to be activated by nature as our body's way to boost our mental clarity and overall health. Isn't that fascinating? Our brains are influenced enough by the healing powers of nature to have developed neurological pathway specifically devoted to absorbing the energy that surrounds us. A study done at McGill University shows that people who live in major urban centers have a 20% greater risk of living with anxiety and nearly 40% risk of developing mood disorders. When study participants were placed inside of the functional fMRI machines and shown images of hectic urban life, the area of the brain known as the amygdala showed increased activity. The amygdala controls our fight or flight response, and when it's triggered, our bodies become flooded with stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, continued exposure to these stress hormones on a daily basis will wreak havoc on our body and immune systems. Now, when the participants of this study were shown images of the outdoors, the fMRI machines showed flashes of increased activity in the interior cingulate parts of the brain. This is the part of the brain that governs altruism, peace of mind, and an overall sense of well-being. These emerging studies prove our minds and bodies function better when exposed to nature. Now, they're not suggesting that we need to disconnect our Wi-Fi or move to the country in order to be healthy and happy, but they do strongly suggest that we have much to gain from honoring the ancient wisdom within our biology. Our brains have evolved specifically to drink in positive energy when we are exposed to serene and natural environments. Talk about an incredible evolutionary resource. Now, let's take a look at a study conducted by the University of Illinois for children diagnosed with ADHD. This study had 3 test groups. Each group was instructed to not take any prescription medication on the day of the study. One group was led on a 20-minute walk through the park, and another in a residential neighborhood, and the third down a busy urban street. After each walk, the children were all given the same cognitive test to measure memory, focus, and concentration. You can probably guess which group performed the best on the test: the children who walked through the park. The study showed that a dose of nature worked just as well as, if not better, than a dose of a medication. So how exactly does nature heal? The answer resides in our brains and relates directly to the relaxation response, a mechanism wired into our biology to help us cope with stress. So can a short walk in the park truly provide scientifically measurable benefits to a healthy adult? That's a big yes. According to a fascinating study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, a brief walk in the park can alter your brain chemistry. Just as in the study of the children with ADHD, a group of adults now were sent on a 30-minute walk through 3 distinct neighborhoods. On their walk, each participant wore a portable neural imaging headset that mapped his or her own brain waves in real time. Each participant strolled through the historic town center, then through a large park, and finally along a busy downtown area. The results were clear. The brief walk in the park induced a calming alpha state in the brainwaves of every single participant. Even Albert Einstein said, "Look deep into nature and you will understand everything better." Nowhere does scientific evidence blend more seamlessly than with the finer principles of connectivity than in nature. We can scientifically observe how our incredibly complex ecosystem functions perfectly and with ease. We can observe the process of growth and witness life's prerogative to thrive, expand, and contribute. These are also the same foundational principles found to resonate with a deep sense of truth within the human psyche. Our bodies are microcosms, and when they are at their best, very closely imitate the rhythm of our ecosystem. Returning to this natural rhythm, even for a brief walk, fills a very deep and primal well that can sustain us in ways that no other resource on this planet can. My wife made me laugh last week. I came home after a speaking engagement, and I must have been noticeably showing signs of a stressful day. I have 3 young children, and when I get home, they're raring to play with Daddy. I walk through the door, and I am met with the sound of little feet bolting across the house just to greet me. It's amazing. On this day, my wife came to the door to watch the little ones say hello. And in their usual fashion, they cover me with kisses and questions. Daddy, 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 Daddy. It's usually one of the best parts of my day. But tonight, I still have a few loose ends from the office. I'm tied up with a few projects, and after being on stage all day, it was showing all over my face. They notice almost immediately that my energy is off, and their enthusiasm, that sparkle, dims down. My oldest daughter asks, "What's wrong?" I tell her, "Nothing, sweetheart. I'm just a little tired." Well, that explanation may be enough for the little ones, but my wife can see right through it. I'm stressed, and I still have work on my mind. Without saying a word, my wife walks down the hall and emerges a few seconds later holding my trail running shoes in her hand. With a quiet smile on her lips and with her eyes looking directly into mine, she hands me my shoes. She doesn't need to speak. The message is clear. Go get some fresh air and clear your head. She knows I'm going to return after my run refreshed and renewed. I love her for nudging me in the direction of my maximal self. Exercising in nature has benefits that go above and beyond the benefits of exercising indoors. Research has shown improvements in mental well-being, self-esteem, and even depression. Trail running or mountain biking seem to help me switch gears better than running on a treadmill. If you prefer lighter exercise such as walking, the effects getting outside are still just as beneficial. Your brain will shift into a more relaxed and present state, regardless of your pace. Research also shows that it's easier to be more consistent with exercising when your routine includes outdoor activity. So, if you're having a hard time sticking to a workout routine, try adding some outdoor activities. It makes a difference. John Muir said that in every walk in nature, one receives far more than he seeks. Yet, another surprising benefit is being out in nature is that the exposure to plants and trees can actually improve your immune system. As you know, your immune system fights illnesses and keeps you healthy. Scientists have found that natural airborne compounds called phytoncides emitted by plants to protect themselves from fungi, bacteria, and insects may also benefit human beings. A cool study that showed that people who took a 2-hour walk through a forest came back with a 50% increase in natural killer cells. These cells may sound sinister, but they are the good guys. Natural killer cells circulate throughout the body, killing bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other invaders. And as added bonus, the benefits from exercising outdoors appear to last for at least a week. Okay, Maximal Achievers, here is your next step into your maximal life. The bottom line here is, the more you can immerse yourself in nature, the better. It doesn't have to be physically exerting in order to reap the benefits. Even if you prefer light activity or only have time for like 10 or 15-minute walk, you will still experience a measurable improvement in energy and decrease in frustration, worry, and fatigue. If you want to feel better, just get outside. You can also enhance your well-being by experimenting with muscular meditation. Muscular meditation is any activity in which you move in a repetitive, rhythmic pattern while in nature. It can include walking, swimming, cycling, jogging, or even rowing. Any type of exercise where your muscles are contracting in a rhythmic pattern over a period of time. This form of meditative movement can free the mind into a relaxed state. Regular practice of muscular meditation can be a powerful antidote for stress, depression, and anxiety. Henry David Thoreau said, "We need the tonic of the wilderness. We can never have enough of nature." Thank you, as always, for joining me today. It is a privilege to share the science of growth and prosperity, especially when it collides so powerfully with the deeper, higher principles of living your maximal life. If you like what you have seen and heard, please subscribe.